Hi everyone, and welcome to a little bit of a different video from what you're used to seeing on this channel. Today I want to talk to you about my Bible reading plan, Bible journaling plan for the next 2 years. It's a big lofty goal, but this is what my plans are. I found this Bible reading plan. It's at BibleReadingPlanGenerator.com, and you can do a whole pile of different create your own Bible journaling or Bible reading plans. I wanted to have one that spanned over 2 years, just because I've read the entire Bible in 1 year before, and I found it to be a lot. So I've done this up so that it's a Bible reading plan over 2 years. So each day, it's kind of weird the way it prints out. It just kind of prints all the way across. So this first block is January 2025, then February 2025, then it goes on into March, and then it just marks down what the reading is for each of the days. There's a few days that are blank. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. Some of them I might kind of scooch them around. I might move numbers 8 over here and do 9 here. Same with Deuteronomy. I might do 26 here and 27 there. We'll see. But it does have a handful of days that there's no specific reading to be done that day. So this takes me over 2 years. So I'm hoping that keeps it doable, because there's a few things I want to do over that course of time. I have a Bible that I bought. It's a women's devotional Bible. I'm not sure if that's showing up here. This is one I bought. I'm trying to remember where it was I bought, but it's a return, or it was highly discounted. I couldn't get the price sticker off it properly. That's okay. And it's something that someone had bought, had personalized, and then changed their mind, or never came and got it, or whatever happened. So it's been covered up. Otherwise, it's a brand new Bible. Has a magnetic closure. I like that. So it's the New Women's Devotional Bible. It's from Zondervan, and it's an NIV. What was on this page? Just the presentation page. I want to tuck that in there, because that'll drive me bonkers. So this one has some reading plans. I'm not going to follow that. That's okay. But it just goes through a description of what's in here. So there's a handful of devotionals, quite a few. There's weekend ones. There's a bunch of devotionals in here as well. And that's something I want to also work with during the year. And I'll explain in just a few minutes how I'm going to use that and tie that in with my journal. So just for an example, let's go to the beginning here. So it starts off with a little chapter overview, and who wrote that book, who the audience was, when it was written, the setting, and things to remember. So then it just highlights a few phrases here and there, but then they have several places where they have a devotional added in with a specific chapter to read, chapter and verse to read, some description, and then three reflection questions. And so those are scattered throughout the entire Bible. So the plan is I will read through each of the days. So the first day I will read Genesis 1. So on January 1st, my plan is to read all of Genesis 1. And so by doing it over 2 days, it's not as daunting a read. And it's something that I feel I'll be able to keep up with for the entire 2 years. We shall see, but that's my plan. So that's the Bible I'm using, and I will explain now how I want to do my Bible journaling along with my Bible reading through the 2-year Bible reading plan. So a little while back, I found at a store local to us. It's a pallets and bins store where they have all kinds of Amazon returns and buybacks and things like that, where they just buy all these pallets of stuff and then they resell it. So they had a whole bunch of old Hobonichi Techo cousins from 2023. So they had a whole bunch of them for $1. And I may or may not have gone a little bit overboard, and I bought 10 of them. And then asked my husband I would like more for Christmas, so he bought me 5 more for Christmas. And so now I have 15 of them. So I'm using one for regular day-to-day journal / planner / whatever you bullet journal type thing. That's going to be my everyday carry that I use for all my life stuff. This one, I have this one, plus I'll have a second one second book I will use in 2026 that I'm going to be using for my Bible study time, corresponding with my Bible reading time. So I want to follow along with part of these. Sorry about that noise. Oh, here comes an ambulance. Not for me. No, that's the fire engines. It's not for me. I live close to the fire hall. So I'm just going to put this aside for now. So I'm going to be using this book and a second one. This will be part 1 for 2025, and I'll have a second one that'll be for 2026 for the second half of my 2-year Bible reading plan. And I will be using this for my Bible study. So there's a variety of sections. For those of you who have not used a Hobonichi cousin, there's a variety of sections in here. There are daily pages. There are weekly pages. Oops, I missed, where are they? There are monthly pages. And then there's a yearly overview page or group of pages. So the yearly overview pages, I have not yet decided how I want to use that. I might use that to keep track of what fountain pen and ink I'm using on a specific day, because I plan on using a variety of fountain pen inks because I have a bunch and I want to use them. So I might do that. I might just use that for keeping track day by day what ink I'm using. Or I might just leave these 2 pages blank. I don't know. This is for December for the previous year. On the monthly pages, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to write down, first off, I'm going to write down which Bible passage I read each day. So for January 1st, I will write down Genesis 1. For January 2nd, I'll be reading Genesis 2 and 3. So I'm just going to keep track. I'm just going to transfer what's on here as I've done it into here. One of the things I do have to do first, though, is I have to redate this, because this is 2023 and January 1st was not on Sunday in 2023, or it was on, try that again. January 1st was on a Sunday in 2023, but in 2025, it's on Wednesday. So I have to go through and change the dates all the way through. So I'm going to be using handy dandy whiteout tape. So I will go through and I'll go through and I will just white out all of the dates. The fact that it's white out showing on top of pink, not fussed about that. So now that I've covered that up, I have a bunch of little date dot stickers that I bought online somewhere, I can't remember, somewhere AliExpress I think it was. So what I will do now is I'm going to take each of these little date dots and recover each of my days. So January the 1st is on a Wednesday in 2025. And Thursday is the 2nd, and so on. So I will go through all the way through here and fill this all the way in until I get to January 31st, which I think falls on the Friday. I think. Anyway, so I'll go through, I'll do that off camera and just fill in all the way across here. So there we have, the month has been redated. So I'm going to go through each of the months, redate, white out the dates on here, use different stickers, dot stickers to redate those. And again, I'm going to be just writing down, so the first I'll write Genesis 1, Genesis 2 and 3, and so on. So what the plan is to read each day. So over the course of 2 years, I'll have all of these filled out. Then the next section we have is a weekly. So a weekly overview. Alrighty, so we're here a little bit later. The light's not quite as good, but I want to start doing the redating on the weekly section. So I'm not sure why oops, I always use that upside down first try. Oh boy, this is not working well. And so again with these ones, I'm going to use these little date dots to redate them. So again, the 1st of January this year is a Wednesday. So for me, this section's not going to be as important that it's dated for what I'm using it for. And if you remember when I showed you in the Bible I'm looking at, they have a set of 3 questions with different the different devotionals. So what I plan on doing is, on a typical week where I have all 7 columns, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 1 column for each of the questions, and then I'll leave 1 blank in case maybe there's 4 one of the weeks or one of the devotionals. So again, the dates aren't as important in this one, but I am planning on answering the 3 questions, question 1, 2, and 3 from that section. So I'll probably put a note across the top on here that it's, I think the first one was in Genesis 2 or 3. I don't think it was in 1. It's in 2 or 3, so I would just put that across the top and have 1, 2, and 3 for the questions. So that's the plan for that. So I'll need to go back through and redate the rest of this. So that's the plan for this section. Then I also have the daily section. And for the daily section, what I plan on doing is I want to follow along something similar to what I first saw on Joe's Bibles. I'll put a link to his, I think that specific video, I'll put a link to that down below. And what he does is he divides up his page and he'll put a portion on this part of the page here where he'll just put down what's on his mind that morning. So anything that's weighing on his mind or weighing on his heart, he'll put that, and then he has a little space for doing any prayer at the end. And then in this portion, on a typical day, what he'll do is the passage that he's looking at, and then he'll just jot down some notes about it and things that he took away from that and learning points and things like that. Mine will be nowhere near the detail and level that his is at. He's a pastor. I'm just a layperson. I'm married to a pastor, but I'm just a layperson. I have no training in, I have tons of education, but not in theology. And so I'm going to use this part of the page to write down what I've gleaned from each of my daily Bible studies. So for the first day, so on January 1st, I'll be reading Genesis 1. So I'll just jot down across here Genesis 1, and then I'll jot down some notes. So what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to use a variety of fountain pens and a variety of different inks, because I just have so many different fountain pens, so many different types of ink, and I want to use them. I also need to redate this because this is, again, an old Hobonichi. So January 1st is on a Wednesday, so oh boy. So I will go through and cover each of those up. And then I will come back in with one of my fountain pens. Since I haven't been able to find stickers that fit in there just perfectly, I might be able to get that figured out later. But for now, I'm going to go in with a pen and just write in either the initial for the day of the week or write in the full thing. So I will go through and do that all the way up. Potentially down the line I might not even bother including the day of the week, like write down whether that's a Sunday. I think that's a Sunday, yes. But I might over time not bother worrying about getting that written down. So for now I'm planning on using my dip pen, and this is an extra broad nib, and I'll probably switch up what pen I'm using to put the dates in, and I'll probably switch the ink. This is, I'll show you again after I've put the lid back on, because that's just going to end badly. So it's a Wednesday this year. So I do have to wait for a bit to let the ink dry properly. And I'll go back through and I will mark down that might do it each day. I'll probably try to do a handful ahead of time, but we'll see how that works. So then I have January 1st on a Wednesday. When I'm ready to do this in a couple days, I will write down the passage I'm looking at. Joe from Joe's Bibles puts a dividing line down here. I may or may not do that. I haven't decided yet. But that's the plan for that section. And I think that's it. I'm not sure what I'll do with each of these pages. They have a nice, a full page at the front of each, at the beginning of each month. I might go in and add a little tab on here to mark off January, February, March, and so on. So it's just easier to find. But that's my plan for what I'm going to do with this book. I have another one that I will use for 2026. So I will get through the first half of my Bible reading in 2025. Hope to keep up with it. The plan is that I will spend a little bit of time every single day. I'll spend time in prayer, in reading the Bible, studying God's Word, and adding to this book day by day. So the ink I'm using for the day of the week titles, this is from Diamine. It was from their Inkvent Advent Calendar from 2024, and the color is called Vibe. And it was, excuse me, it's an extreme sheen, which means that once it's dry, it has all kinds of, it's a cool color. And it looks really neat. You can almost see the beginnings of it here. It has all kinds of reflective colors mixed in with it. So that's my plan for my Bible study and Bible reading plan for 2025. I almost said 2024. 2025. I do plan on getting a cover of some sort for this. I'd like to get a plastic cover, potentially a plastic cover. If not, then I definitely want to get a leather cover of some sort to keep it protected and keep it nice and safe. No, that's still too wet to do anything with. I'm not very patient. Alrighty, so those are my plans. I will show you this here and there throughout the year, let you know how I'm keeping up. This part down in the bottom here shows the full calendar, and it marks down which day you're on, but it's off because it's 2 years old. So I'm just going to ignore that and probably just ignore everything on the bottom. I doubt that I will use any additional decorative stickers or anything like that. I might put in a few pieces of vellum here and there, maybe, and some decorative paper, but probably I won't add much more to this. I want this to be pretty much mostly all functional and not decorative. Although I might put a piece of vellum to separate the beginning of each month. Although it probably won't work that each month will start on a day that, see here we have, I might do it here to mark the beginning and the end of, between the end of one month and the beginning of the next month. But we shall see. So that's my plan. I hope you'll join along, maybe set up your own Bible reading plan for the new year. And if not a structured reading plan, then just spend some time in your Bible every day. I think it's really important. So those are my plans for my Bible study for 2025, not 24. I'll probably have other things that I will come and show you off and on throughout the year, but this is one of my big projects that I want to start this year. And I'll probably bring you along and show you a few things over time with how this is looking as I'm filling this out. I'm looking forward to having this all set as a completed project. It'll be 2 books once it's done. Alrighty, I'm going to stop nattering, and I will see you again very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye now.